Welcome to The Weekly Download, your essential summary of the most significant stories shaping our world over the past week. This recap is quite meta, because all the research, script writing, and even our discussion itself have been completely generated by cutting-edge AI models.
This week, we're diving into a seismic shift in AI regulation, the escalating talent wars in Silicon Valley, and how even children are learning to outsmart our most advanced algorithms. We'll also explore the evolving discipline of AI alignment and its critical role in the future of defense.
It's a packed agenda, and it feels like every story this week orbits around the central theme of control: who has it, who wants it, and how we maintain it in the age of intelligent machines. Let's start with our first major story out of Washington. The U.S. Senate has decisively rejected a proposed 10-year ban on state-level AI regulation, a move seen as a major blow to big tech's lobbying efforts.
This is a truly fascinating development, and it speaks volumes about the shifting political landscape surrounding artificial intelligence. For years, the narrative pushed by tech giants like Google and OpenAI has been that a patchwork of state laws would stifle innovation. They've advocated for a single federal framework, which, not coincidentally, they would have a significant hand in shaping. The rejection of this moratorium, especially with such overwhelming bipartisan support, signals a deep-seated mistrust in that argument. It's a powerful assertion of states' rights, interestingly championed by a Republican, Marsha Blackburn, against a provision in her own party's bill. This tells us that the fear of unchecked AI development is beginning to transcend traditional party lines.
It's remarkable to see a coalition of progressive groups like Encode AI and conservative figures like Stephen Bannon finding common ground. The core issue seems to be a refusal to let big tech dictate the terms of its own oversight, especially when Congress has been so slow to act. The 99-1 vote is more than just a legislative outcome. It's a symbolic statement that the public and their representatives are no longer willing to wait for a federal consensus while technology gallops ahead. States are now empowered to become laboratories of democracy for AI governance, experimenting with different approaches to protect consumers, creators, and children.
Exactly. And this isn't just about abstract principles of federalism. It's a pragmatic recognition of the immediate risks. As Senator Markey pointed out, this was a direct pushback against the idea of selling out local communities to pad the pockets of big tech billionaires. The argument from AI safety advocates like Max Tegmark is also crucial here. When the creators of these systems admit they can't fully control them, the idea of granting them a decade-long immunity from regulation seems not just irresponsible, but reckless. This vote fundamentally alters the trajectory of AI regulation in the U.S., placing the power to innovate on policy, not just technology, back into the hands of individual states.
From the halls of government to the heart of Silicon Valley, our second story reveals a different kind of battle. A leaked memo from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman shows him taking a direct shot at Meta for its aggressive, high-cost recruitment of AI talent. Altman frames it as a philosophical clash: OpenAI's Missionaries versus Meta's Mercenaries.
This memo is a masterclass in corporate narrative building and a fascinating window into the cultural anxieties of the AI world. Altman isn't just lamenting the loss of a few researchers. He's drawing a line in the sand. He's positioning OpenAI as a pure, mission-driven organization dedicated to the responsible creation of artificial general intelligence for humanity's benefit. In contrast, he paints Meta as a mercenary force, using its vast financial resources to poach talent for what he implies are less noble, market-driven ends, likely shoring up its dominance in social media and advertising. The Missionaries versus Mercenaries framing is incredibly potent because it elevates the conversation from a simple talent dispute to a battle for the soul of AI development.
It's a powerful rallying cry for his own team, certainly. He's reassuring them that, while Meta might be able to buy a few people, it can't buy OpenAI's unique, quirky, and weird culture, which he argues is their true competitive advantage. He's essentially saying that those who are truly committed to the mission of AGI will stay, while those motivated by money will eventually leave. It's a bold move to suggest that his company's culture and purpose are more valuable than the astronomical salaries Meta is reportedly offering.
It is, and it highlights a fundamental tension in the tech industry. Can a mission-driven, almost academic culture survive the hyper-competitive commercial pressures of a gold rush? Altman is betting that it can. He argues that Meta's approach will lead to deep cultural problems, a subtle dig at its history of scandals, and its constantly shifting strategic priorities. By reinforcing OpenAI's singular focus on AGI, he's creating a sense of stability and purpose that he hopes will be more appealing in the long run than a quick payday. This isn't just about retaining talent, it's about defining what success in the AI race truly means. Is it market domination, or is it achieving a world-changing technological breakthrough responsibly? Altman is firmly planting his flag on the side of the latter.
It's a compelling narrative, and it leads perfectly into our next story, which explores how we're teaching the next generation to think critically about these very systems. A new educational game called AI Puzzlers is designed to show children how they are, in many ways, still smarter than AI.
This is one of the most encouraging and intellectually robust educational initiatives I've seen in a long time. The brilliance of AI Puzzlers lies in its use of abstraction and reasoning corpus, ARC puzzles. These are specifically designed to target the Achilles heel of current AI, true flexible reasoning and abstraction. Large language models are masters of mimicry and pattern recognition based on vast datasets, but they lack genuine understanding. When a child solves a puzzle that a powerful AI cannot, it's a profound pedagogical moment. It demystifies the technology and shatters the illusion of infallible godlike intelligence that is so often portrayed in the media.
The interactive component where children can see the AI fail and then critique its nonsensical explanations is fascinating. It's teaching them not just to be users of technology, but to be critical evaluators of it. The study notes that children developed a more nuanced understanding of the structural differences between human and machine cognition. The quote from the child who said the AI is solving things based only on the internet, but the human brain is creative, is incredibly insightful. It perfectly captures the core lesson of the game.
It's a beautiful distillation of the concept. Furthermore, the assist mode is a stroke of genius. It moves beyond simply observing AI's failures to actively engaging with them. By prompting children to refine their hints from vague descriptions to precise logical instructions, the game is teaching them metacognition and the fundamentals of effective communication with algorithmic systems. They are learning to think about how they think. This is not just about building a healthy skepticism. It's about cultivating a generation of digitally literate citizens who understand both the power and the brittleness of AI. It's a vital counter-narrative that empowers children by affirming the unique value of human creativity and abstract thought.
From empowering children to wrestling with the internal logic of the machines themselves, our fourth story, AI, Align Thyself, argues for a radical new approach to AI governance. The author, Leslie Joseph, posits that AI alignment isn't a one-time setup, but a continuous, dynamic discipline.
This article makes a critical and sophisticated argument that the industry is only just beginning to grapple with. The idea of locking in alignment before deployment is becoming dangerously obsolete. Modern AI systems, especially autonomous agents, are not static tools. They are dynamic learning entities that evolve in real time. Joseph's central thesis is that we need to move from a human-centric reactive oversight model to one of AI-assisted governance. In essence, we need to build AI systems that can monitor, critique, and even correct other AI systems.
The techniques mentioned, like recursive reward modeling and mechanistic interpretability, sound incredibly complex. It seems we're moving toward creating an entire ecosystem of AI, with some acting as checks and balances on others. Is this a realistic goal for most enterprises, or is it confined to the realm of advanced research labs?
While the techniques are advanced, the principle is scalable. The core idea is to embed oversight into the system itself, creating a living, scalable feedback loop. For a business, this isn't just a matter of compliance or ethics, it's a strategic imperative. As Joseph points out, misaligned AI is simply bad for business. It leads to inefficiencies, reputational risk, and a loss of customer trust. Conversely, a well-aligned system is more predictable, requires fewer manual interventions, and is ultimately more profitable. The paradigm shift is from viewing alignment as a cost center to seeing it as a driver of competitive advantage. The CIOs who grasp this will be the ones who succeed in the next decade.
That reframing of alignment as a performance driver is key. This brings us to our final story, which looks at how these concepts are being applied in one of the highest stakes environments imaginable, the military. The article Innovating Defense explores the role of generative AI in military evolution.
This piece correctly frames the integration of generative AI into the military not merely as an upgrade, but as a Kuhnian paradigm shift, a scientific revolution that forces a complete reevaluation of doctrine, strategy, and ethics. The establishment of the Pentagon's Task Force Lima shows that the U.S. Department of Defense is taking this transformation seriously. We're moving beyond using AI for narrow tasks, like target recognition, to potentially using it for drafting operation orders, designing equipment, and augmenting high-level strategic decision-making. This raises profound questions about accountability and the very nature of command.
The article raises the specter of AI-generated kill chains and autonomous weapons, which is obviously a deeply concerning frontier. But it also points to significant barriers, such as the lack of high-quality military data and the vulnerability of these systems to adversarial attack. How does the military balance the immense strategic potential with these very real and catastrophic risks?
That is the multi-trillion-dollar question. The DoD's emphasis on principles like traceability, reliability, and governability is the only responsible path forward. The article's use of Clayton Christensen's Innovator's Dilemma is particularly apt. The U.S. military, as the incumbent power, faces the risk of being disrupted by adversaries who may adopt these technologies more quickly and with fewer ethical constraints. Therefore, the imperative to experiment and innovate is immense. However, the reference to C.P. Snow's Two Cultures highlights the critical need for interdisciplinary dialogue. You cannot have technologists building these powerful systems in a vacuum. Separate from the policymakers, ethicists, and strategists who understand the nuances of warfare and international law. Bridging that gap is perhaps the single most important challenge in this domain.
It seems that across all our stories this week, from state houses to boardrooms to battlefields, the central challenge remains the same: how to ensure that our creations remain aligned with our values and intentions. It's a continuous, dynamic struggle that requires not just technological solutions, but deep, critical, and humanistic thinking.
Beautifully put. The common thread is the move away from a static, set-it-and-forget-it mindset towards a recognition that interacting with advanced AI requires constant vigilance, critical evaluation, and a commitment to continuous alignment. Whether it's a senator rejecting a moratorium, a CEO defining a corporate mission, or a child learning to question an algorithm, the message is clear: human oversight, wisdom, and values have never been more important.
That's all the time we have for this week's The Weekly Download. Join us next week as we continue to unpack the stories shaping our future.
Thanks for listening.